Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte. What is going on, 49ers faithful? Jason Aponte back with a new video. The guy to my right, you guys know him, Mr. Grant Cohn. Grant, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for joining.
I'm chilling, man. I really like your intro. It felt like the hidden lost song on Illmatic. I really liked it a lot. Who made that for you?
Someone. So 49x365. That's B Amici.
Jesse
actually.
Brooks? Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. So B Amici.
Jesse went to my high school.
You really? Wow. That makes sense. So B Amici made that for me, and I think he understood the whole East Coast thing. And that's part of the reason that he chose that. And I'm a big Mobb Deep guy, big Nas, like from that era guy, because I'm a bit older and I'm influenced by, where I'm at from. But I think he nailed it with that as well too. So
I had that good boom bap feel.
100%. Shout out to him for that. So everybody that's here, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, join the Spicy Squad so you can join those call-in shows that are members only. And also, subscribe to this guy if you haven't. I'm sure you have. It's just,
I'd appreciate it.
A little bit of a big deal on YouTube as well, too. Grant, I'm going to start off with something that we didn't really have planned. I kind of just sprung on you a little bit before we joined the show. The rookie numbers are out. And the 49ers, with their elite history, have so many amazing players, so many numbers that people want retired. But as we know, football only has a certain amount of numbers to go around. You can't just retire numbers and then just continue to add players, especially when position groups need certain numbers, even with the new rules with the NBA, with the NFL, where, Dalvin Cook just moved to number 3. Alexander Mattison is wearing number 2. They're allowing that for running backs, things like that. 74 is given away to Burford. No disrespect to Joe Staley, who is a 49ers legend, one of the best linemen has ever played for the 49ers, one of the best linemen that's ever played the game. What are your thoughts on Spencer Burford, given the 74 number that is so heavily thought of amongst 49ers fans?
I'll put it this way. I noticed it. When I was like, oh, they gave away 74. And it's like, because there are certain players who sort of get this unofficial retired jersey status right away. Frank Gore is one of them. You will never see a Niner wear 21 ever again. And Staley didn't make the cut, and I guess it made me laugh because he's got an argument. He might be the best left tackle in franchise history, but it's important to step back and think about all the people who haven't gotten their jerseys retired in 49ers history. Like, let's just list Navarro Bowman. That went to Marcus Zoucher real quick.
Patrick Willis hasn't been given out, but he's not retired.
No, Patrick Willis is made man. They're never going to give out 52 again. But Justin Smith, that went to Solomon Thomas pretty fast. Thank you, Justin, for your service. Bryant Young, Hall of Famer. Dakota Watson wore 97. 97 is fair game. Yeah. So, I mean, look, if Bryant Young didn't get his jersey retired, then sorry, Joe. Sorry, it's just the way it goes. It's one of the most storied franchises in sports.
100%. And here we go. David Sanchez, thank you for the super chat. Can we get Grant in a JG10 shirt? Grant, what would it take? Would it take more than the $2 that was just sent in to get you in that?
I would have to profit off of it in some way. I'd have to make the shirt myself and get a percentage of it. Right now, I'm selling shirts with my face on it. This is just a prototype, though. You can't buy this one. I'm just wearing it for fun. And I also got my banana hands.
He's not a businessman. He's a businessman. So a little bit more to let's talk about these numbers. Terrell Owens is largely regarded as one of the top 3 receivers of all time.
Good example.
For me, he's right behind Jerry Rice, in my opinion. I think he's better than Randy Moss, who's also
I agree. He would actually go over the middle, unlike Randy Moss.
Okay, there you go. 81 was given to Anquan Bolden. 84, Brent Jones. Randy Moss.
Brent Taylor wore that for a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so again, there's only a certain amount of numbers to go around. It's no disrespect to Joe Staley. It's just you can't get rid of look, here's the one that if you were talking about retired numbers that you need to stop right now. I know you mentioned Frank Gore. 8 needs to be retired right now. There's nobody that should be allowed to wear 8. ever again.
No one ever will, but that's not officially retired. That's crazy to me.
That's exactly my point.
Crazy to me.
If you're talking about Steve Young not having his number retired, don't argue 21, don't argue 97, don't argue 74. Yep. All of those fall by the wayside until Steve Young's number actually gets officially retired. So again, guys, I get it. Legend, Joe Staley, one of the best that's ever played. Get it completely. There's only a certain amount of numbers to go around, and you can't just start retiring all of them. It's just that the 49ers are that good that they've had that many great players.
I do find it interesting that the Yorks have found Patrick Willis and Frank Gore fit to sort of merit the unofficial retirement status. You know what? I would agree with that. Those two are legendary 49ers, and it would be weird to see someone wearing 52. It would be worse than weird. Same with 21 at this point.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's just say in Madden world, where a lot of 49ers fans live, and they, you want this guy signed, you want that guy signed. Let's just say Madden world, Jalen Ramsey becomes a 49er.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Ramsey says, I want 21 because I want to be like Dion. Jalen Ramsey is one of the best in the game and changes your defense. The 49ers tell him no?
They would tell him, Jalen, 49er fans love you right now. If you take Frank Gore's jersey and say, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, they're not going to love you as much. We highly advise you not to do it. It's up to you, though. It's up to you, though. We highly advise you not to do that if you want the fans to like you because they like you now. I'm just saying,
okay,
it's a mistake. The blowback he would get is so unnecessary. Why would you bring that on yourself? Why would you want that smoke? I don't think he wants that smoke.
One more. The 49ers, in some kind of world, get Justin Herbert as their quarterback. Justin Herbert walks in and says, I want number 8.
That is so disrespectful. me as a freaking former 49er fan born in 88 who roots
and Steve Young's your guy. Joe's not my guy either. Steve is my guy. I'm not that old.
You better. Look, Justin, I know you were probably born in 1999 or something, but have some damn respect. Absolutely not.
David's got a good point here. As long as Jeff Garcia gives his blessing. Funny story real quick before we get into the actual content that we have here for you. In the media room at the draft in Vegas, I spoke to someone who works with Jeff Garcia and does publicity for him, right?
Nice.
And she, when she found out that I covered the 49ers, she asked,
where the hell were you when he said that stuff?
Right.
When he
So she goes, so what are your thoughts? And I said, look, I was like, it's less about what he said to a woman and more what he said to 99% of the population, because he said, you can't have an opinion on playing quarterback if you've never played quarterback. And I was like, you see everybody in this room? I was like, every single person in this media room is a big room.
Yeah.
None of them have played quarterback. So all of us don't get to speak. I was like, I was more offended by that than whatever it is that everybody took as far as the sexism thing is because, dude, nobody, the top 0.1% of players people get to be quarterbacks. Forget women.
I just want to say real quick that I like Jeff Garcia. I was 12 when he was the quarterback. I rooted for Jeff. I've interviewed him multiple times. He's been very generous with his time. What I want to say about what he said that time, he was trying to support Jimmy. And what he found to support Jimmy was super dumb. And then he compounded the dumbness with misogyny. So, not his best moment, but I like Jeff Garcia. Can I give him a pass? It's really not for me to say, but it was a terrible moment for Jeff.
Here's the thing, Grant. It's that saying, don't meet your idols. I've never met Jeff Garcia, but the more that he speaks, the more you get to meet him because of the age we live in. And the more you get to kind of get to know the people that they really are underneath those helmets. And I used to have a Jeff Garcia jersey during that time. When they knocked off the Giants, being on the East Coast.
All I want to say is I don't know if he stands for the right things, but he's a good guy. He's given me so much of his time. He doesn't know who I am. Like, person to person, he will be nice and respectful to you. And again, you never know if people stand for the right things in life. I'm sorry. What he said was like the dumbest shit ever.
Right. Well, our comments are lit already, and I think it's because Grant's here. 10 needs to be retired. We up by 10 in the fourth. Number 10 was quarterback. Nobody needs that. Don't get him started, man. Please, guys.
Okay, question. Move on. What is the next number the Niners will retire? That's my question.
If you look, all right. I think it's got to be 52.
No, unofficially. Let's say that 52 and 21 are as good as retired. The next one.
Man.
I think I know which way where they're going to go.
71? 85?
I think they're going to go 85.
85.
Dude, the
Kittle's
most overrated player of all time, man. He's the Buster Posey of 49ers here, man. Have a longer career.
Kittle's got to stay here, but the discussion that I always like to bring up is Vernon was better.
Vernon was better. Thank you. They gave away Vernon's freaking number so fast. No respect. I'm sorry.
I mean, look. I love George Kittle. I love what he brings. I love all of those things. I think he's I think he's a top 2 tight end in the league, depending on what day you ask me. But man, y'all are forgetting how clutch Vernon was in those playoff games. Man, he was balling.
Am I the only person who flinched a little bit when I saw Nate Sudfeld wear 7?
That's a weird number for a quarterback. That one is weird like
number for Nate Sudfeld. That's like that's Kaepernick's number, man. Like Nate Sudfeld. Ew.
Hey. Ew. I mean, both from California.
That's true.
All right.
It's true. They're both from the same area. It's true.
It's fine. He couldn't block. The catch 3, there is no catch 1 with Kittle.
Yes, he could.
Vernon Davis.
When he was younger, that dude was hella strong. Yes, he could.
Vernon is a part of like your biggest moments as a 40. Like those playoff runs when the 49ers were in there, Kittle wasn't balling like that. I'm sorry, man. We need to start a whole new discussion about this whole Kittle and Vernon thing because the recency bias has pushed out how much Vernon
absolutely could block. He couldn't run routes. He could not run a route to save his life. And he caught every ball like jumping, which was kind of weird. But man, in the playoffs, he looked like the best player on the field in multiple games he was in. Am I wrong?
He was dominant.
He was dominant. Yes.
He was dominant.
George Kittle has not had a game like that in the playoffs. Ever. Vernon took over games in playoffs. I was there. It was like,
yep.
Yes, he did.
The catch 3. That's the catch 3.
And it wasn't just one catch. It was a whole game. I mean, he was dominant.
Ooh. Here we go. G's bringing the fire. Delanie was the better tight end. Between him and Vernon? Or?
Delanie may have had the better. Delanie was great, too. It's just on the Niners, they featured Vernon. But Delanie was great. And then he went to Tennessee and validated that. Delanie was great. I almost felt, at the time, I felt they should have kept Delanie over Anquan. Although it was a tough one. But I love Delanie.
He was a baller. You can't pay everybody. Those teams were stacked, especially when you go and you look back at those successful careers that guys had before or after they were 49ers. That team was absolutely stacked. Let's get to the current 49ers, Grant.
Thank you.
So you're at rookie minicamp. We'll get to that in a sec. Let's fast forward a little bit to training camp. Who's a player that you're excited to watch at training camp?
Easy answer. To me, it's all about Drake Jackson this year. It's all to me. Like, I've seen Danny Gray. He looks good. I think he has the potential to be a hell of a number 3 receiver. Ty Davis Price, dude, it's training camp. They don't hit each other. So it's hard to really judge linebackers and running backs. This pass rusher, to me, like, if he's good, it validates the entire draft. If he's not good, this entire draft is bad. So I want to see him in the one-on-one drills. I want to see him against McGlinchey. I want to see him against Trent Williams. Because I have a feeling he's going to be good. And if he's good, all right, well, you got a good edge rusher in this draft. That's what you got, most likely. I mean, he could be a starter for you for a long time, or he could be the new D Ford. That's a big deal. So I feel like all eyes on Drake Jackson in this. I mean, I'm going to be looking at Danny Gray as well, but really, like, no one's expecting him to start right away. Drake Jackson is supposed to be a baller at some point, and I think he can be. I'm not fading him the way I faded Mike McGlinchey from the start. I actually think Drake Jackson's going to be good. I want to see it happen.
That's why.
Sorry.
Right, so no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
It's just
because they should go up against each other one-on-one. Those two. Yeah. I want to see that.
Right. And Drake Jackson right now, I think he's more suited right now to the D4 replacement role. I think that he has a little bit of work to do before he becomes a 3-down guy. If he becomes that 3-down guy like Nick Bosa, then it's out of the park, and I absolutely
that's down the line. I agree. That's a couple years down the line.
Yes. I absolutely see that being in the cards.
He was 101, dude.
Yes.
101, yeah.
His moves, the way he wins with a little bit more finesse. I would love to see more power moves, him be a little bit more violent. He can win inside and outside, which is good. That doesn't necessarily mean that you got to stick him out on the edge and you can do all those things. That's a really good call with Drake Jackson as well, too. But
I mean, it's the obvious one, I know.
No, No. I think that's a great call. I mean, everything else after that, I mean, is pretty much either you're playing with house money, or you're just kind of hoping to see what you have. Like, I know a lot of people are excited, and we'll get to how we feel about this draft class. So I want you to save your thoughts on that. But you've been at minicamp, and for anybody who hasn't seen your reports on rookies, who has been the most impressive rookie? Keep in mind, the things that I would have loved to seen at rookie minicamp are the linemen, are the edge guys. But there's not enough to do all those things. So really, minicamp is for running backs, wide receivers, and secondary. That's it. And
it was 7-on-7s.
Yeah,
it was 7-on-7s. So that's what we're talking about. Usually in training camp, like, I don't even really talk about 7-on-7s. I only reference 11-on-11. So keep that in mind.
Right. So right now, rookie minicamp, you shouldn't really put too much stock into anything because, one, you're not going to see any of the linemen or anything like that on either side. It's really about running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and secondary. Who stood out immediately to you, Grant?
It was easy. I mean, it was one guy. Actually, well, I'm going to say it was one guy. It was Danny Gray. It was Danny Gray, but I want to put it first, I want to give him his flowers. He was dominant. He was the best player in the field. 5 targets, 4 catches, touchdown, a long touchdown. The speed popped. He looked good. But keep in mind, like, it's rookie minicamp. He's the highest draft pick on the field. Drake Jackson isn't out there. Well, Ty Davis Price. Okay, but the Ty Davis Price, it's 7-on-7. The running back really can't show much. So this was an opportunity for Danny Gray to dominate, and he did. So he's going up against mostly Tariq Castro Fields. He's supposed to beat Tariq Castro Fields, and he did. That's great. He also beat Sam Womack. So it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to beat Emmanuel Mosley or Trevarius Ward in a few weeks, but he did what he's supposed to do, and it's encouraging. What I want to point out, though, is that he wasn't the only wide receiver who got off, which is maybe discouraging for the secondary, or maybe they got other guys. Like, they had a guy that's not even an undrafted free agent. He was a tryout guy from Missouri named Kiki Chisholm. He went off. He had an acrobatic catch near the sideline, like a back shoulder jumping, twisting fade kind of thing. And then he had 2 catches over the middle where he had big yak afterward. So either the Niners have a couple of good wide receivers, or that secondary without a pass rush was just getting torched by Brock Mullins, CJ Purdy.
So you talking about QB1?
QB1.
In some people's eyes. In some people's eyes.
Dude, that guy didn't miss. He must have had he must have completed 90% of his throws. Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yep.
All right. We've got a super chat from Gammon. Thank you. Shout out to him. And honest question: did Tartt's non-interception cost him? What do you think?
That's a great question. I do think it did. Okay. You know how the Colts basically scapegoated Carson Wentz for them not winning Week 18 against Jacksonville? That's the main reason I think Wentz isn't there anymore, dude. I think that's the main reason.
That it's one of them.
That is the vaccine, right? The vaccine.
Yeah. The vaccine thing was that was like the last thing that they were like. That was all they talked about at the combine was about how the owner was done with that. But keep on.
This thing I think is really costing Tartt, and to me, it's a real it's petty by the Niners because you are now downgrading. You didn't find an upgrade for Jaquiski Tartt. It's personal at this point. It's emotional.
Unfortunately, the organization has already said bye to Tartt already. And they didn't bring him in for a one-on-one. Did you
hear John Lynch get asked about Tartt after the draft? Have you he was like, I mean, Tartt's done good stuff for us. I mean, it's always an option. Like, he seems so annoyed. Like, dude, enough. He's done.
They moved on from Tartt by not bringing him into the office and giving him an exit interview, or at least saying it to his face. They told his management right after the NFC Championship game that they were moving on. It seems like obviously they weren't his guy. He's from different regimes. I don't necessarily think that this interception has cost him, but I don't think that the public perception helps, because the one knock was he can't make plays on the ball. The ball is right there for him. He doesn't make the play, so it didn't help. But I don't think that's the main reason. I think that right now there's a lot of really good football players who aren't necessarily looking for extra money or looking for big money that aren't signed right now. I think it's just kind of the way the market has gone for him. But it certainly didn't help. It certainly didn't help his public perception with 49ers fans, especially the ones that disliked him going into the season. And maybe around the league, there's a little bit of discussion about that. But in the way that I'm kind of looking at it, I think in my head, I'm just speculating, is think he's just kind of waiting his time out, and there's going to be somebody that's going to wind up calling. And right now, he doesn't really need to do anything to be at like OTAs or any stuff like that. So who knows? But it didn't help more than anything. But yeah, the 40 don't. So for 49er fans that are here listening, he's not coming back. It's not happening. So that's it.
I think it's another example of the Niners really wanting to replace a player they didn't draft themselves.
That's it.
When they inherited. It's like, Talano was our guy. Like, yeah,
That's it.
Sure.
That's it. That's absolutely it, right? Like, that's their guy. They're happy, whatever, cool, but that was one of the things. But he's not coming back. Like, just get it out of your mind. Anybody that's asking for Tartt to come back, they've already made the decision. They told him right after the NFC title game, you're not coming back. That's it. But they didn't do it in the classy way, like, come to the building, let's talk. They told his management, and he hasn't been to the building since. So, Jamal Armstrong, shout out to you, bro. Did Castro Fields and Womack look 4-3 fast to you, Grant? That's a question for you, man.
Castro Fields, no. He got burned. Danny Gray worked that dude. Sam Womack only got targeted once. It was a quick dig, quick kind of slant in breaking route from Gray. So he never got tested deep. I can't speak on that. Can't say. I'll let you know. Good question.
And there's numbers like 4-3, guys run straight 40s and things like that, but that doesn't mean they play that fast. And I think that's a little bit of what is lost in camp, that you have to kind of see when pads go on and the game starts to move, and guys can't play as fast because they're thinking, things like that. So I think that's all stuff that we're going to find out in a little bit more than anything.
Tariq Castro Fields looks like a guy who's not going to make the team. It's a little too early to say. He got worked. If he can't guard Danny Gray, who you guarding, dog? You ain't guarding Deebo.
But that's what I'm saying is I don't remember when we did the show earlier, he profiles more as a safety for me. And I think that's good for his skill set. He can be on special teams this year, bide his time, be a gunner, be down the field. They bet on his athletics, but I don't think he's a nickel corner. I think Womack is more that nickel corner than he is. I think he profiles more as a safety for me.
He better, because he ain't a corner. I'll tell you that right now.
All right.
It's been enough. That's the thing. Like these rookie mini camps, it's not like necessarily are you sold after a day? Like, is there anyone you're out on after a day? You know what I mean? Like when I saw Pettis the first time, I'm like, ew, no, it's soft. Can't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like there were 2 times over the middle where there was a ball that was a little off target, that was a little high, and he kind of just like waved at it with one arm, like it didn't matter. Like, dude, everyone's watching, man. You're a pro now. You got to make a real effort, and he didn't. I'm like, you're soft. I'm writing you off, and I was right. So like the only person I would really write off, Tariq Castro feels like the 220th pick. I'm not writing him off, but I look at him more as like an undrafted free agent than a 100%. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So grade for the rookie class / undrafted free agent class, because I think that a lot, especially when you look at who they signed as an undrafted free agent, what's the grade that you actually gave for all of them? And we've got a few super chats that we have to get to in a second, actually, as well.
That's a funny question. I'm going to separate them because they're not weighted evenly, but to me, the undrafted free agent class on its own was an A+. Like they knocked that out. That was great. The draft class to me is a one-person class. It's Drake Jackson. And they didn't have a first-round pick. Like they went in 3rd round, like rotational running back, rotational wide receiver. And then they went like just project offensive lineman, project cornerback. Like great. If Drake Jackson's good, it's a successful draft. I was sort of lukewarm on it. I'll give it a C+. C+. To me, it's a one-person. They didn't even have a first-round pick. How excited can you really be about this draft class?
Right. And I think I kind of put it all together because they got some guys that many people mocked in the draft as undrafted free agents. Yeah, Donovan West, right. Cool. And that's what brings me to this one. Gennaro asked, any UDFAs a favorite to make the roster? Donovan West, I think, is a lock at this point to make the roster. $10,000 up front, $100,000 guaranteed for a UDFA. That's not a contract that you give out to just some guy that you're hoping makes the team. I think Donovan West makes this team.
Good point. And you also got Leon O'Neal, who's essentially competing with Tavarius Moore,
and Hufanga.
Well, I'm saying for a roster spot. Hufanga is going to make the team, but Tavarius Moore isn't necessarily going to make the team. I look at Tariq Castro Fields as he's competing with Jason Verrett. If Jason Verrett shows anything, Tariq, get to know the practice squad. That's your destination because no one's going to claim him. So that's the way I look at it.
And Leon will make it. When we were talking earlier about when we were talking earlier about who are you concerned about, it's less about me being concerned about players and their skill and more about like when you put guys on practice squads, they're going to get lifted. And the Seattle Seahawks are sitting there in the bushes waiting to see who's
They
on
do it
their
all the
practice
time.
squad. Yeah, and they're waiting to like basically the Seattle Seahawks have this little thing where they just let the 49ers find the talent and they're like, well, if the Niners like him, then we like him. So there's going to be guys that unfortunately are not going to make this roster, not because they're not talented, but because there's only so many spots and practice squad guys can be claimed.
The Niners used to do the same thing with the Seahawks guys. Balky used to do that all the time. They had a little thing going. Yeah.
So James asked West better than Banks. West is better than Banks in terms of he's a center.
Yeah.
Off the rip.
They play different positions. Yeah.
Right. And do we know if Alex Mack is coming back? Let's just say no. Let's just say no. But JC Tretter is like Sting on top of the rafters looking down, waiting to get signed. They could like Kyle's not ready to turn this over, especially with a rookie quarterback. He is not ready to turn this over to a rookie center.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
There we go. So, I mean, that's why I think he's going to make the roster. Gammon has another. Yo, Gammon, thank you again for the super chat. Jason, do you have a disc? How can fans talk ball with you? Disc? I don't get that one necessarily. 2, Grant, how can I get my book autographed by your pops? There you go. That's a good question.
That's a good question. Freaking mail it to him. Here, Gmail me. Email me. Grant Cohn at Gmail. I'll work it out with you. I'll work it out with you.
And then 3, Kinlaw knee like Ford's neck. Gammon, let's not put that out there. Oh, Discord. No, I don't have a Discord, Gammon. Is that something I should do? I need mods for my YouTube. I need all of these things.
Don't go down that road. Discord is, dude.
What?
You would need a lot of help. I have one, and it's like, dude, you would need a lot of help. Okay. Otherwise, it gets awful right away.
Gammon, holla at me and I'll try to figure it out, man. Let me see if I can get some mods and everything as well too. But then let's get to this. Let's get to this third one. Kinlaw's knee like Ford's neck. God, I just made myself a boomer. I just made myself a boomer with that, not knowing the Discord.
I actually would say that's probably I'm a little skeptical that Kinlaw's knee is ever going to be healthy. It's not his fault. This was flagged at the combine. This was all. I mean, it's like the Niners bought I always do these house analogies now because it's like they bought a house with a messed up foundation. They're like, we can fix it. It's like, all right, well, you knew what you were getting into. You knew what you bought.
Yeah, you know what? All right, I'm gonna take the optimistic.
Gammon's in. Gammon will be a mod.
All right, Papa Gammon, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I'm with it. But with the Kinlaw thing, I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic. It sounds like he's lost weight, which very much helps.
Good.
And they say it's completely cleaned up. Maybe this was something they could have done earlier. And you know how people are saying, well, why didn't you get the surgery? I think a lot of guys feel like, hey, I'm going to power through this and do rehab. And most people would feel like that. Forget athletes. If someone asked you, hey, you have the option to rehab without getting surgery, pretty sure a lot of people would say, I'm taking the rehab.
Hell yeah.
So all right, maybe this hasn't played out the correct way, but I'm going to take the optimistic approach. Here's the problem with what happened with Deebo Ford. And this is the problem that the Chiefs knew and Auburn knew. Auburn and the Chiefs knew you don't practice Deebo Ford at all during the week. He's a Sunday player. You get him up and get ready to get him to go. For whatever reason, the 49ers just completely forgot about all that and just said, yo, practice. Yeah,
Culture.
I get it.
Culture.
At the same time, man, do what's best for the guys. So
he got hurt in practice a lot.
Yes, right. So the Chiefs knew
times.
You're a Sunday player. You don't practice. You come to walk through, you stand around on Saturday and get hyped for Sunday. And what did Deebo Ford do? He was a baller. And guess what? They sold him to the 49ers for that second rounder, and they replaced him with Frank Clark.
Let me just say,
I think the 49ers botched that.
The Chiefs knew how to handle him, but they never gave him big money. They knew what they were doing. They let the Niners make that mistake.
Yes, they did.
Like Deebo Ford's going to be chilling in Mexico like until he's 70 because of the Niners, not because of the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? He'd be living la vida loca because of the Niners, not because of the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying?
But look, Greg, if the 49ers win in Miami in 2019, I don't think anybody looks at this Deebo Ford thing, even if it continued to play out this way.
True.
They don't look at it the same way. If you win that one bowl right then everybody kind of just gets off Deebo Ford's back, and they were like, "Thank you." They're like, "Thank you for your contribution," and that's what Drake Jackson can essentially be just starting before he becomes that. So here's me giving you optimism, 49ers fans, trying to at least a little bit.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
All right. Kinlaw's the ghost of bulky pick. Goodness gracious. I have a theory that if you say torn ACL 3 times in the mirror, Trent Baalke drafts you.
Because the Niners still do it without Trent.
That's I'm trying to,
the spreadsheet said there's value there.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Look, Grant, let's keep going. Schedule just came out, and it's really hard right now to figure out what teams are. We don't even know what teams' 53 rosters are, but it's fun to go through these exercises.
Yeah.
My guy Jared Bailey put out a prediction on your site. Wasn't well received, as most things that Jared talks about with the 49ers, not necessarily more
smart though.
But
smart though.
Let me just tell you, while I disagree with Jared's still my guy in real life. So chill out with the slander.
He put a lot of thought into that. I give him a lot of respect for it.
We disagree.
And he knew with the reception he was going to get too.
Oh yeah.
I respected that article.
He knows that, and he'll text me stuff.
I chickened out. I wanted to give him 8 and 9, and I was like, I don't want the smoke. I don't want to say I don't want the smoke. Let me find a 9th win, and I gave him the 9th win.
And you'll just be
labeled bad about myself. And he came through with 8-9 record. I'm like, man, Jared, I respect you.
And you'll just be labeled as that guy. But Jared will text me, and I'll be like, Jared, you know what you're doing, dude, right? Like, you're shaking the hornet's nest, especially when it comes to the 49ers.
But at the same time, he might be right.
He put some thought into it, and look,
right.
I'll give my take on it because I have on my channel. But early prediction. All right, let's do, instead of like solid prediction, let's do this because I think this is a more fluid conversation, one that's going to be more conducive to getting to the truth. Floor and ceiling for this team. Win records. That's probably the best. What's the floor for the 49ers?
Here's the way I can't. That's a tough one. Here's the way I look at it. All right. To me, this is a team that went 2-4 in its division last year. A lot of people have them going 5-1, 4-2 in the division. They went 2-4 in the division last year, and they're not as strong as they were last year. They've lost a lot of veterans. So to me, I'm looking at 3-3 in the division, and the fact that they have to play the AFC West is brutal. To me, I'm looking at potentially 0-4 in the AFC West. So that's 7 losses right there. And I'm looking at the rest of their schedule, like who else can beat them? Like there's Tampa. So that's 8 losses. And basically I let the Niners run the table after that. I'm like, all right, they'll win the rest of their games. But even after that, they're like, for example, the Saints. The Saints went 9-8 last year, but they were 9-3 when they had a quarterback other than Trevor Siemian or Ian Book under center. Now those guys are gone and they have
Taysom Hill.
They were 4-1 with Taysom Hill. And he sucks. That just shows how good they are. So, like, yeah, the Niners, I mean, there's a world where the Niners are 13-4 or 12-5, but, like, their schedule is so brutal. So brutal. And there's a world where they're 7-10. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the floor is 7-10, 6-11, and the ceiling is, I guess, as high as 13-4 because they do have a lot of talent. And if Trey Lance is Josh Allen, then, yeah, they can win a lot of freaking games. But they should have played him last year. He's basically a rookie who's been on ice for 2 years, and this schedule is crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, if I had to guess, I'm thinking 8 or 9 wins. 8 or 9 wins.
Third place schedule too, and they made the playoffs last year, but they just happened to run into an AFC West that is the best division in football, and the
Rams have to face them too. The Cardinals have to face them too, but the Saints don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Vikings don't. Like that's your competition in the wild card race. Rough.
So, Gavin Brown, again, thank you for the donation, bro. Elephant in the room, 49ers start slow, young quarterback. I would have thought that if the schedule didn't open up easily. The Chicago game should be a win. And who's the second? And then if they don't beat Seattle. If they don't beat Seattle at home with Drew Lock or Geno Smith starting, then it is a curse. They
should start 2-0. But it's going to get rough. It's going to get rough.
So my floor right now for them is 8. And I think that they split with the Rams.
Okay.
They split with the Cardinals. And they better 2-0 against Seattle. They better. Okay. They better. Okay. Otherwise, there's a big problem. That team stinks. And they better be better than them. Okay. Now, the way of the league is you play your division and you go 500. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Carolina, Atlanta, Chicago, and Seattle's division, but you play everybody else 500. There's this stretch where it's like Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and in a row.
Washington, New Orleans,
the Chargers, Chargers,
Miami,
the Raiders, right? And Miami's not going to sleep, right? Miami's not going to sleep at all, right? So I've got them at the floor at 8.
Okay.
What I've got them at the ceiling is 10. And that is me knowing full well, and this leads perfectly. Wow. This is a masterclass in content right here, because I'm going to wrap this up and turn it right into the last topic, or we can get up out of here. That I expect bumps and bruises with Trey. I do. I expect there to be a game where we're like, damn, man, the kid didn't necessarily do it right there.
Right.
I mean, we had 3 or 4 of them last year with Jimmy. Jimmy punted the Tennessee game away from us, right? If it's gonna happen with an 8-year
bad, dude. That was all-time bad, that game.
Right. If that's an 8-year vet doing that, a guy playing his first few games, you have to expect 1 or 2 of those games to get punted away to where it's like, damn, he didn't get it done right there. I'm not gonna freak out about that, but I expect those things to happen. Yeah. I do expect Trey to have wins where we're like, holy shit, I didn't expect them to win that game. Like if he comes out and he beats the Chiefs at home, even without Tyreek Hill, you'll start to look at this kid like, oh my God, here they go. They're in the right direction. That's not Houston, right? Even though he almost beat the Arizona Cardinals, who were world beaters because it was in October, right? This is October Arizona, not December Arizona. They're 2 different teams. So there's going to be those bumps and bruises, right?
But hold on. Let's take the magnifying glass off Trey for a second. I'm not worried about Trey. I've seen Trey. I think he's better than the quarterback they had in the past. He should be an upgrade. I don't know the Niners have upgrades at other positions. Do they have an upgrade at strong safety, or do they have a liability at strong safety? Do they have an upgrade at center, or do they have a liability at center? Do they have an upgrade at left guard, or do they have a liability at left guard? Like Trey should be fine, but does he have pass protection? Is the secondary Travarius Ward is good? What about safety position? What about nickel? Right. Like all I know, again, Niner fans are scoffing at the Saints. Hold on, slow down.
They're a playoff team.
Hold on. So they gave up 19 points per game last year, and they signed Tyrann Mathieu.
Yep.
They have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Like they have all their spots
Marcus
filled
Lattimore,
out. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, like really? And it's like, okay, well, Jameis sucks. Like, what's Trey? Jameis isn't great, but like we know exactly what Jameis is. We don't know what Trey is.
Jameis was playing his best football last year.
He was 5-2 last year.
Right. He had 4 interceptions under Sean Payton. They completely reined him in and got him good. If Jameis plays the whole year, if Alvin Kamara misses time because he gets suspended because of what happened at the Pro Bowl, that's something different. But that team is low. I understand. You lost Teron Armstead. That's huge. They drafted Penning.
And that's a team that is like really good at drafting and developing offensive linemen. I mean, they do it all the time, as opposed to the 49ers. Right. So I'm not saying the Saints are better than the Niners, but like that's the tier. That's where the Niners are. They're right at the Saints level. And I wonder like how many other teams are there too? Are the Vikings
at the same time? 9 wins might get you in. Nine wins might get you in this year.
It didn't last year, but it might. Hey, your boy Barrett loves Washington, by the way.
That makes no sense.
I'm not with him on that.
I think that he thinks that defense is going to play the way that we thought it was last year, and I don't know if Chase Young is that guy, pal, anymore like that.
I like Philly better. You know why? Because A.J. Brown is the fucking truth.
Yeah, he's good.
He's fucking really truth.
He's really good. So Gavin Brown again. Look, he brings up your point. A shout out to him, man. He's killing it with the super chats. Appreciate you, bro. Young quarterback status on our center, right tackle. McGlinchey's gonna come back. Like I said, I had the doc on the show, and again, anybody who hasn't watched that show, please go back and watch that show. He talked about McGlinchey being on the field, but he expects a drop off. And then if he's back the year after, you'll see him at McGlinchey. And he didn't. And here's the kicker, Grant. And this isn't going to help. This isn't going to help. Change your mind on Mike McGlinchey. He doesn't see problems in pass pro. He sees problems in the run game for him with that injury.
That's not good.
That's not good.
It's going to limit his mobility. Yeah.
Right. And he even alluded to the fact that maybe Kyle's going to have to think about maybe sliding him in and out of certain plays and not playing as much. I don't know how you do that. Yeah. Hey, look, that's a doctor telling you that, not me. Okay.
Hey, real quick, what I wanted to say is like these offensive linemen that they drafted. I'd never heard of Spencer Burford when they drafted him. So when they took him, I'm like, okay, like they're gonna move him to guard. And then I met him and I saw him. I'm like, no. This is a tackle.
Yes.
This is a tackle.
He
And so
profiles
what
like a tackle.
what they did in round 4 is hedge their bet at right tackle. Spencer Burford is there.
Yeah.
And they're not going to bring back Mike. This is Mike McGlinchey's last year in the team. And he might be good. He might not. But he's history. And Spencer Burford is getting ready to take his spot. I'm telling you right now. That's what's going to happen.
Hey, I like it. Yeah. I like it. Hot takes. Yeah. Jay, thank you for the donation.
Hey, at least Spencer Burford has some athleticism. I'm just saying.
No, he does. He does.
Yeah.
Win record at 10 has to assume Deebo shows up in shape and plays most of the games. I think that he shows up. What do you think, Grant?
If they pay him, I think so. If they show him the money, they got a Jerry Maguire situation in their hands, Jason. No, I think it's going to come down to the very end. I don't think he's going to go to minicamp. We talked about it on my show today. They know what the price is. Torrey Denny's not going to mess around, but if they give him AJ Brown money, they should probably be able to work it out. And they should. I mean, why would they not?
Right.
What are they going to do?
And I think I said the same thing on your show today, is that like they're out of options at this point. They just it's at a point where it's like, well, yeah, all right, fine. Yeah, okay. You know,
here's how I look at it. The Niners know what the price is. Deebo knows what the price is, but it's all like a power play. And the Niners are going to like, we're going to do it on our date, on our schedule. It's like one of those stupid things. Like they could handle this today.
Yeah.
But they don't want to. They don't want to set the precedent. It's all like a super like it's posturing and power and all that stuff.
What about if they told Deebo and he didn't like this? Hey, Deebo, we'll sign you, but there's this little thing that we have to get done with our roster first. So just be patient, buddy.
Chill. Just chill. Well, we'll get to you. But it's not your turn yet.
All right. 40 minutes in. Thank you guys for tapping in. We've got a lot of people in here. We got one more topic. Make sure if you're here, like this video, sub the channel, hit that notification bell, join the Spicy Squad so you can do those call-in shows. Looking for mods also, so let me know if you guys want to be mods on YouTube. Maybe we'll start a Discord. Grant Cohn here. You know, these are always lively shows. Grant, here's the last question, and I'll let you get out of here right after this. What does a successful season, in your opinion, look like for Trey Lance? Forget win-loss record. What does
man, it's not that simple. It's a great
okay.
It is the question. But like to me, I've seen people be like, well, he's compared to Josh Allen, right? Okay, so let's look at Josh Allen when he was 22. What did Josh Allen do when he was 22? Okay, so he completed 52% of his throws and threw 10 touchdown passes and 12 picks and ran for a bunch of yards. So if Trey does that, is he a bust? I mean, I can see a lot of people being like, no. But at the other end of the spectrum is all the people that didn't want him on the team, the people that felt that this is not a rebuilding team, didn't need to do this project. They should have stuck with Jimmy. And they're like, it doesn't matter what his numbers are. It doesn't matter any of that. They got to go to the Super Bowl. And that's what I feel like is so unfair for Trey.
Well, Grant, I fear that too. I fear that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about in your mind.
And more, in my opinion,
in your opinion.
Be better than Jimmy. And I know what Jimmy is. Be better than Jimmy.
Okay.
Be better than Jimmy. No, honestly, hold on. It's not even honestly, it's not about Jimmy. Let me give a better answer. They drafted this guy for the long haul. So you got to show something that makes people really believe that you can be great. You don't have to, it doesn't really matter what you do this year, honestly. You're 22. But you got to show something, a glimpse that makes people feel like you could become great in the future. Because if you don't, then it's going to be real bleak. But if you do, I mean, if you're great when you're 25, but you're not great at 22, that's okay. So he's got to show a glimpse. And I feel like Josh Allen did at times when he was 22.
Yep.
Yeah.
You completely stole my answer. I don't talk about win-loss record. Look, there is a world where the 49ers do not make the playoffs, but I walk away from this season saying they've got their guy. And that's what everybody needs to feel at the end of the year. There's going to be bumps. There's going to be bruises. There's going to be valleys. There's going to be peaks. Yeah. But at the same time, holding up this standard of, well, they made an NFC championship with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he better be better than Jimmy. Relax. What I need to see is growth, consistent growth. And what I need to see is this. When things are not going well during the year, I need to see him get out of that. And I need to see the glimpses. If I see that, and let's say the 49ers, knock on wood, go 7-9, 7-10, right? And don't make the playoffs. It could happen.
It could happen.
They go 7-10. But at the end of the year, when the season is closed, I say they've got their guy, that's a successful season more than anything. Their core is here. The core's here. It's not going anywhere.
Because again, hold on. If they miss the playoffs, and I think they might, it's not going to be because they downgraded at quarterback. It's going to be because they downgraded at strong safety, nickelback, left guard, right tackle, yada, yada, yada. Like, that's going to be the reason. And not just that, the fact that their schedule got insanely harder. Those are going to be the reasons. Trey Lance is being graded on a whole different rubric. It's not about that to me. Like, they draft with the investment they put into him, those 3 first-round picks say they think you're going to be top 5 in the league at some point. Do I think that? Like, I don't know yet. We'll have to see. I think we'll all have an opinion after year one. And if we all think, man, this guy might be a top 5 quarterback in a couple of years, then that's a successful season.
100%. Look at Grant with the level-headed take. That's not necessarily a hot take at all. Look at that, using his brain.
Unexpected.
Yeah, that was the curveball that we all needed. Hey, look, Grant, thank you again for joining the show, man. I appreciate you, bro. Hey, look, you got merch. Talk to them about the things that they should be looking out for you going forward.
Yeah, check it out. June is going to be dropping. There's going to be a website. I'll let you know. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be this shirt, but they're going to be shit. If you want your banana hands coffee mug, we can work it out. Let me know what you want and we'll make it. But I'm thinking like we'll roll out a few things in the off season, your basics, your staples. But then during the season, when shit pops off and shit gets viral, then we'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always something that's going on. Like 2 years ago, like the that could have sold at the time. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, thank you again, bro. I mean, for the people that don't know, I collaborate with content creators all the time. Like Grant's my guy in real life, man. Like this is a guy that I owe a lot of what I've been able to build to, just because he's looked at me and he saw something in me as well too. So I'll be forever grateful to Grant in that way. Nobody could ever talk bad in my face about Grant because we don't let that slide at all, right? We don't let the slander slide. But no, I always want to say, man, I thank you, bro, for always.
No, hold on, let me give Jason his props real quick. With Jason, because I like these are all my children. Not my children, but it's my family.
You got a farm system. You got a farm system of content creators.
I'm very proud of Jason, and I know what Jason does well. Jason knows his shit, but also Jason is extremely good on camera. Extremely. He's a natural. I could watch Jason for an hour, just like, he's just really, really entertaining. And to make it on YouTube, it's a whole different thing. You got to be knowledgeable and entertaining. It's both, and Jason's got both, so that's why he's good.
Yep. Arturo, thank you for this, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, Grant, I always got to say that, man, that no matter what, you've helped me. This is something I never thought I would be able to get into. And if it wasn't for you and other avenues and things like that, then, a lot of people look at me like I'm successful. I'm just working. Like that's it. And I'm lucky enough to.
I like to think of myself as a gate opener, not a gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper, 100%. And that is the perfect way to end this. Hey, shout out to everybody that was in here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had over 250 people in here at a time. Make sure you like this video, sub the channel, hit that notification bell, join that spicy squad. Need those mods. Let me know if you guys want to be mods. And as always, let's go Niners. Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.